Hello, everyone. Welcome back to School Life Ready Talks. I'm Dr. Cecelia, Pediatric Occupational Therapist, here with my co host and friend and partner, Jen, a mom of two amazing boys.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Oh
Hope
my
everyone's
goodness,
having a good
Jen,
night.
it's been a while since we did a live show. Just because we have had so many different things that
Hmm.
have come up, but what this has shown us is that everything doesn't always go as planned,
Right.
and sometimes things happen for good reason, and
Hmm.
it's for us to really learn from the things that happen in our lives, whether they be good things or bad things, that we can really look and learn, because in everything there's always a lesson.
Yes, definitely. There's always a lesson. And I think it's just about identifying the good and the bad with everything. So, uh, with I always try to look for a positive and a negative. I think that that's important to keep me grounded.
Yeah. I always tend to try to look for the positive. Like, I try to frame it. Even if it's something negative, I try to reframe it to where it serves my purpose. I was like,
You do.
oh, yeah, this happened. So, you know what? That makes me be able to do so and so.
Right.
Yeah, but we're back on track.
Hmm.
And tonight, we are going to be talking about routines, responsibilities, and resilience. Just really helping our children build their confidence and their competent skills. Because I know a lot of times, especially for parents of children with disabilities, parents tend to want to just do it for them. So tonight we're going to have a candid conversation, and I'm going to be asking parents to please don't deny your children to experience what it is to try things and fail at it. And really bridging that gap between resilience and frustration, right? Because a lot of times, if it's hard for the kids, we might feel like, oh my goodness, they're going to get frustrated. So tonight, we're going to delve into that some.
Yeah, this is very much a therapeutic conversation, if you will. And I say that because I had an instance like this, and I had to yesterday at the
Hmm.
store, and I reflected on it last night and thought about what I could have done differently. And that one thing was I could have given my kids a task or something to look for in the store. And that would have been a game changer for, the way that they cooperate. But I was just wanting to get through it quickly to school night that I was like, I got this. But you're right. It's about involving your children.
Yeah, it's a lot of times parents have schedules that they have to follow too, like they
Yeah.
have to get to work, or they have stuff that they have to get done. Or just like you yesterday, you were like, oh, I have it's a school night, I have to get home, I don't have time to make the child do certain things. And that is understandable, and I'm not saying that you should always let the child do for themselves. I think as parents, we have to like say, okay, is this a right time? Or we can say what we will do is carve out a certain time of day to get stuff done. For example, I have a lot of children who are practicing tying their shoelaces. Now, I don't expect parents to stop. The kid has to get on the bus at 7:30, and it's now 7:25, and you're going to go, but Dr. Cece wants me to make you tie your shoelaces. She says that you need to practice. I don't expect that.
Yeah.
But I do expect you to find time um, later in the evening when the child gets home, or if they're changing to go to soccer. They might have taken off the shoe that they wore to school and now they're putting on their soccer cleats or whatever. Have them practice it at that time when you're not in a rush, when there's ample opportunity, or build it into your schedule that,
Mhm.
like 3 times a week, we are going to be practicing tying our shoelaces. I always tell parents that a good time to practice self help skills is when your child is getting ready for bed,
Right.
because you know that they don't really want to go to bed, so that's a good time to take your time and have the child practice. So, how have you implemented practicing in your routine with your boys?
Okay, full disclosure, I am a single mother of two children. So I get it in when I can. And the time that I do get that in is um, I do it in the carpool lane. So I take my kids to school. And so we're sitting there waiting. Sometimes it's 10 minutes, sometimes it's 7. I try to be at least 10 minutes early. And so that's the time where my youngest is sitting in the back seat with his shoes off, obviously, and tying them and practicing. And so that's really how I've done it. um, you know, no, yep, no one's perfect.
No
So
judgment. That's what works for you. And that's no
yeah.
judgment. And that's a really good time because you're sitting in a carpool line. You know how long that line can take
Oh yeah.
at at times. So that is absolutely a perfect time for you and your kids. And that's what parents need to do. Like, think of the times when you could be doing things, especially instead of always being on the tablet, like, because that's something like every child now has a tablet at every time, at every level. It doesn't matter what the occasion is or what the event is going to be. I notice every child, as much as I keep telling parents, please try to reduce the tablet time. Parents, it's easy, and I get it. It's easy for you to allow your child to be on the tablet. So parents do that a lot. They'll just use a tablet time. So let's we have done several shows where we talk about reducing screen time. Use some of that tablet time to actually practice skills that you want your children to do. Moreover, it's important for us to have our children do chores and activities, not just the skill that they can't do, right? We want our children to be actively engaged because the science says when the children do the activities themselves, it helps them practice planning, sequencing, problem solving, the same skills that they need for academics like math and reading comprehension. So the more we have our children engaged in activities, the better we are developing their mental and their physical abilities. So it's not just about practicing things that's hard for them to get them better at it. It's really just really getting them engaged, keeping them wearing they're feeling their muscles and their joints, they're building strength, they're building motor skills the more they do stuff. So that's why it's important to have our children engaged. And not only does it help with their physical abilities and their cognitive abilities, it also helps with their emotions, because the more they do, the more they feel competent in doing, and the more they'll feel a sense of pride and confidence.
In value.
Yeah, and value,
Yeah.
right? and
Yeah,
feel
I
independent.
mhm. Yeah, I think that it's important, so I think it's important because it's keeping children to making them follow through on their
Hmm.
tasks, right? Like, if it's something like unloading a dishwasher, well, all of the dishes have to come out. So with my oldest child, we are very big on taking breaks when we do tasks that we don't necessarily like.
Hmm.
So I will allow him to unload it for 3 minutes and then he gets a 5 minute break. And then he has to
Mm.
come back. But it's about completing the task, following through. And it's gotten better. We were at 10 minutes. His breaks were 10 minutes. We're now at 5. So we're improving always.
Always. And that's what we want to do. We want to get our kids. If you think about unloading the dishwasher,
Yeah,
if you look at all of the skills that are involved with that, right? So one, we have to be gentle with our dishes, right? So we have to be careful with those because we have glassware many times. We have to put things in categories. The spoons go one place, the forks go one place, the knives go one place. So we're looking at the kids sorting, right? Then we're looking at just the muscle strength and really knowing where things go and just being involved in their overall environment because
right.
they're the ones who use those dishes. They're being part of the family. They're helping the family. So those are so many different skills we learn from just doing the dish emptying the dishwasher. And that's what I want parents to realize, because a lot of parents would say, oh, it's just going to take too long, or he might break the dishes, so let me just do it myself, or he's going to end up putting the spoons where the forks are going to go. No, no.
Can I just say something?
Sure.
My child does not put anything where it's supposed to be. The
And
first
that's
step
okay.
is just unloading it, and then I go behind him and I put the forks where they're meant to be, but I'm just proud that he knows that that is his responsibility and that it all has to come out, and then I figure it out. So that is another step, but I do think that when approaching things like this with children, we need to approach it in steps. So just a little bit of a victory is them unloading it and being
Mhm.
responsible, and then the second tier would be putting the forks and the spoons where they belong.
Absolutely. So that's a great way. We call that modifying the task. All we're saying is empty the dishwasher. We're
Yeah,
not saying put everything where it goes.
right,
And two, depending on the child's age, say, for example, the child is a 3-year old can empty the dishwasher. They're just taking and put it on top of the counter, and the parent can do the rest. Now, the child, like your child, is older,
yeah,
but given that he's on the spectrum and he has difficulties with staying on task or sequencing and finishing all that stuff, then what you're doing is correct. First, you just empty the dishwasher, and then later on, you put in the next component of, okay, just put away the knives and the forks. So here's a drawer. There's a knife here. There's a fork here. There's a spoon here. Put all the spoons here. Put all the forks here. Put all the knives here. And that's another component that you just worked on with your child. So there's so many different things that our children can learn to do, but we have to allow them. We have to allow them to do it. I read an article last week. It was an article. It was for an older. It was about an older adult with disabilities, wherein a family member was observing how the caretaker who takes care of this developmentally disabled adult, and the family member was in awe and just happy to see how the caretaker allowed this disabled adult to do things as much as he could do them. And the joy that was observed on the face of the disabled adult, because I think he was making like a sandwich for himself. And yes, he couldn't like spread the peanut butter because he had some motor difficulties. So the peanut butter was in like chunks as he was putting it on the bread. But it didn't matter, because what mattered to him was that he was making his own sandwich. And the same thing applies to our little ones.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if they're doing it perfectly well. What happens is that they're enjoying the process of helping. They feel so good that they're helping. If you look at toddlers too, they want to do everything.
Yeah.
They feel so
They're
good.
big and mighty.
They're big and mighty, and they want to do everything. They feel so good when they are getting the opportunity to do. So
Yeah.
we definitely have to try to get our kids to do more.
Yeah, and I think, sorry, I just want to say one last note on that is meeting your child or anyone really, I learned that from a really good friend of mine, is meeting them where they're at. Is, like you just need to move in life that way, is, that's as much as someone can give you, and being okay with that. And that's something that, takes practice, but I've been practicing with my own children.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, like, for our children who are on the spectrum or might have ADHD or might have other learning disabilities, we always have to consider how we want to make sure that what we're giving them initially, they can do it, so we can build their confidence.
That's right.
And then we can throw in the harder stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you're doing that, Jen. And the other thing is routines, like making it wherein they know this is expected of them, right? It's also like giving your kids chores. It's funny because chores to younger kids are fun, but chores to older kids, they whine about it sometimes, and they're like, oh, but the parents are not giving them any what's it called when you pay your kids to do chores?
Allow. I almost said salary. I put my kids on a salary.
Yeah, they're not getting any allowance. Some kids, because some families do it differently. Some families might give money in the form of allowance, and some families give events and activities.
Or tokens. You can do tokens and then have them earn something. It could be something as simple as like a frozen drink from Quick Trip. But just giving them that reward, that something tangible where it's like, hey, I did it. I'm very big on tokens. I am kind of shifting into money because my kids are getting older and I want them to learn the value of $1. But yes, during these years, we've done tokens.
And the thing is, do a little sticker chart or a token chart.
Yeah.
So they can see, you can put it on the refrigerator. Every time they accomplish something, or you give them their little sticker, and then at the end of the week or month or whatever it is, the system that you set up with them, depending on your child, that is, so for some kids, it might need to be weekly. For other kids, it can be monthly.
Sorry, but some children do need a daily.
And some kids need daily.
Yeah, it could be something from a treasure box, something very small. But I know my child needed something at the end of the day, some sort of reward. And then now we've slowly moved into a weekly thing. But a daily thing, don't feel judged, totally normal.
Yeah. Yes, whatever works for your child. You know your child best. So whatever works. If you want to do daily rewards, weekly rewards, bi-weekly rewards, whatever works best for your child. But what you need to do is have a routine, because our children do better with predictability, right? You don't want to necessarily just throw in your child. So, but if your child is on the spectrum, and you know they don't do well with changes because they're not very flexible,
Right.
don't just throw in, hey, your chore today is that. Like try to keep it as routine as possible. Now, if your child is typically developing and is okay with the flexibility, you can do that. You can be like, hey, today I want you to do this, right? So just know your child and know who you can be more flexible with, or who you need to definitely keep a predictable routine with, because every child is different. um yeah, so
And
yeah. Any Do your children have chores right now? Do
oh
both
yes,
boys have chores?
they do. They do have chores. So one of their chores is that they have to put their own clothes away. And
Mm,
so they have their drawers, and they're meant to know that. And so that's something that I give to them because it doesn't have to be perfect, right? Like it could be them just putting their shorts in a ball and tossing it in there. That's totally fine by me. When we did start this whole chore era is what I call it. Once we started moving into this, the first thing that I did was ask them to make their bed because all they really had to do was just put the blanket over it, and that was good enough for me.
okay.
And so now it's like we're moving. Now they have to make sure that their pillows are upright, and so dishwasher, beds, and helping with clothing.
Okay, and those are their consistent chores, like they
Yes.
don't switch, like the one person who has the dishwasher, that's always his chore, or do you switch sometimes with them?
No, I switch amongst them because they're so close in age. I feel like it's okay, and it's also, in my opinion, helping my oldest build the tolerance. Because one day he will have a job, and this week my deliverables have not been what they were last week. So things change, and you have to just kind of go with it.
Amazing. But yeah, we want our kids to definitely do chores. Basic stuff like when you come in with the groceries, have your children put them away. Have your kids help to bring in the groceries that don't have stuff that can break, like
Yeah.
just
So with that, the way that we started was I would let them pick out, or I would tell them the grocery list, and they would help pick out, and then they were excited to bring in their bags. And that's kind of like how I started it. And we shop a lot at Aldi, and our Aldi has self checkouts. So
hmm,
they've been doing that lately. Is that they've been having to check out their own thing and bag their food, their groceries, and then they're excited to help and bring it inside. Putting it away, not so much, which is fair because they've been out shopping and they just want to lay down and watch some TV. So I give them permission for that.
yeah, watch out for those self checkouts though, because sometimes they'll double scan.
Oh, girl, I'm on a budget. It's not happening.
So you don't have to worry about, you're watching it like a hawk, right? Because even me, like I don't like scanning my groceries unless
Yeah.
I have like 4 items or less. I am not doing the self checkout because I always feel like I'm gonna make a mistake, and then it's gonna take me longer to go back to customer service to fix it. So yeah, I'm scared of those self checkouts. But the kids love the self checkouts. They love the self
Mhm.
checkouts, and they love paying with the and now they get to tap the credit
Oh,
cards.
sorry. Hang on.
That's okay. Go ahead. You okay? Or you yeah. They get to tap the credit cards. So they get really, really excited about doing the self-checkout. But parents, just getting your kids involved with whatever it is helpful. And you can start with kids who are as young as 3 years old, like just basically helping them to put away their toys after they play with them.
Oh, yeah.
That is just making that a habit. Like You play with the toy, you put it away. I see a lot of times parents will be the one cleaning up. Oh, I have to clean up the living room because um, little Johnny just finished playing with his toys and I'm going to clean them up. But if little Johnny can play with those toys, little Johnny can clean those up. I can tell you something, even a 1-year-old can clean up their toys. Once you have like a basket that you're going to put the toys in or a specific area you're going to put the toys in, even a 1-year-old can clean up their toys. Parents, you don't need to be cleaning up after your kids all the time and you bending all the way down to pick up toys off the floor. That's more detrimental to you, and it's also detrimental to your child by you doing it for them.
Right.
Get them involved in
Yeah.
in doing things.
I agree with that statement. I think that it's the best way to set the expectations right from the beginning of,
From
like, if
as
we
early
pick
as
some,
possible.
yes, as early as possible, setting that expectation. I wish I would have done that. I did not.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to tell parents now. Do that. Your
Right.
baby's 1-year-old. He can pick up a toy. He can put a toy away. Don't feel like you have to do that for your child, and that's where you start, because you start training them to understand that things need to be put away. Also, you're building their muscles and their motor skills and their problem solving skills just by you doing that one little simple thing, putting away the toys.
Yeah.
For kids who are a little bit older, watering plants, you can make
Right.
that. And as Jen said, putting away laundry. It doesn't have to be in the right place all the time. Once you are okay with things not being perfect, then that's a start. Just have them do. As they get older, you can make themselves a little snack. Go get their own snacks. Let them learn how to open their snack pouches. They can do it. They can do it. Now, I must say, some of these snacks, boy, some of them are hard. That Capri Sun, with the straw, to get the little straw in the little hole. Every
Yep.
time I look at it, I'm like, boy, this is not built for kids with physical disabilities. I don't know why they do that. I'm like, it's really hard for some kids. But what we want is to do it. If you have to do it, let them help. Let
Right.
them help you do it. Don't do everything for them. And as they get older, using a vacuum. Using a vacuum. Well, nowadays a lot of people have the little robo. That's okay. Let them turn it on.
Well, it could be something as simple as vacuuming your car. I mean, you got to do that, right?
Yeah, and especially if they eat in the car and they
Mhm.
give them a little hand vac. Let them vacuum up the crumbs and find those little stray French fries that fell out, and let them be involved in cleaning up their space. Initially, parents, it might be like you're thinking it's easier for you just to do it yourself, but you're robbing them of the experience, and you're also robbing them of developing those skills that are needed to that they're needed to develop, right? So that's why we want to get our kids involved.
Mhm.
And
And
the
I think,
more
sorry.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I think the end result is going to be worth it, because right, they're not going to be little forever. One day we will be sending them off to college, so having them know what to do, I think, is very important, and then they're able to have that. I don't know if it's like emotional maturity or just maturity in general. I think it makes them feel a bit more powerful, and that's important.
Yeah, the more you do and the more you accomplish, the more you feel confident and powerful, right? Because there's nothing worse than a dependent feeling. Think about it. When you feel like you're dependent on someone, it takes away your confidence. That's why 2-year-olds, they're always like, well, I'll do it myself, right? You
Yeah.
notice it? I'll do it myself. And sometimes they can't even do it. They don't even have this, but they're telling you, I do it myself, because that is part of development,
Well, and it
right?
also like shows you that children were born with this self-confidence, and it's society, it's, us that have been pushing that down. So I think that right there is something to reflect on and, try to uncover, unpack. That's
Absolutely. It's natural for a kid
Yeah,
to
I didn't
want to
even
do
think
it
about that,
themselves.
to be
Yep.
honest with you. I didn't even think that 2-year-olds are always like, "I got it," and we're the ones that are like, "No, let me do it for you, Johnny. It's okay."
I know. It's like we have the kids begging
To
to
do
do
it,
it
and yeah,
themselves.
and then we reverse it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. And then when we think like, oh, you're old enough now, they're like, I don't want to do that.
right, you've been
They
doing it for
pass
so
that stage.
long. It
Yeah.
it yeah, it goes back to that expectation. They expect you to do it because that's what you did. So that's pretty deep, Cecilia.
Now, for parents who are a little hesitant
Mhm.
to allow their children to do activities or chores or
Yeah.
their self-help, like a lot of times parents don't allow their kids to brush their teeth themselves because they're thinking they
They're not
can't do
gonna get
it
the
good
back
enough.
ones.
Huh?
I said they're not gonna get the back
Or
ones.
they're like, right? Or they're not going to rinse, or they're not going to spit, or they're not going to gargle, whatever. So I'm going to be doing this for them. Then I know a lot of parents like, and I get it, because parents are like, they're not going to do it good enough.
Yes.
And given your child's age and your child's functioning level, your child might not do it good enough. However, there are different strategies that you can use to ensure that your child is getting a chance to do it, building the skills that they need to be able to do it good enough.
Right.
Because by you saying they're not going to do it good enough, and then you don't make them do it, you are really holding them back from learning it, how to do it, and how to do it at an earlier age. I can tell you that I've seen a lot of children who are living out of the US, and maybe, like, for example, children who live in Jamaica. I've seen kids who have developmental disabilities who can do so much for themselves because the culture is not one wherein the parents are saying, we're going to do it for you.
Right.
So I notice with families where the parents do not say, I'm going to do it for you, those children actually do better.
Yeah.
And not just what I've observed, the science and the
Fine.
literature also backs it up, that
Mhm.
when we make our children do for themselves, they end up doing better overall, not just in that one task that you're teaching them at home, but overall, because those same problem solving skills, those same motor planning skills, they are used in other tasks, and
Right.
they're also used in academics.
Yeah.
So your children have a better chance of doing better in school when they do more for themselves at home and in the community. So it's your overall, you're helping your child. But if you're a little timid and you are scared to have your child do the entire task themselves, what I would say is this: start small. So you can pick one task that you think you feel like you're not too worried about if they mess up, right? So you as a parent, you choose that. Then you can use picture cues, right? Some kids do well if you just use your you can use your camera phone, and you just take pictures of them doing each step, and you kind of say it's toothbrushing, then you just put the picture on the bathroom wall or on the bathroom mirror. You be like, hey, just follow these steps, if your child is high level enough to be able to follow pictures cues. But even if you're there with them and they're physically doing it, you just point to them like, look, this is first, this is second. That helps. Those are called visual supports. What you can also do is there's something called um, backward chaining, and we use this a lot in therapy to teach new skills. So what you do, you have, like, say the task has 5 steps.
Yeah.
You do step 1 through you backward chaining. You do one step 1 through 4, and then have the child just do the last step.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I've done that before.
you have used that
Yeah.
before with your
Like,
kids.
yeah. Yes. It reminds me of something else that I do with them, but yes.
Yeah. So, or we can do the forward chaining, where you have them do the first step, and then you do the steps 4 through 5. And then once they master step 1, then you make them do step 1 and 2, and then you do 3, until eventually they're doing all of it themselves. So
Mhm.
that is the key. So you don't have to feel like you're frustrating your child because it's too big of a task, or you feel like you're worried that they're not doing perfectly enough. You're still involved, but you are allowing them to do as much as they can do within that task. And that's for tasks that the children don't yet know how to do fully. That's when you would employ those techniques, when the child doesn't necessarily know how to do it. So if your kid already knows how to do a specific task, then you don't have to use those techniques. You just allow them to do it and just be okay that it's not perfectly done. Like how you were saying with the bed, you're just having them do putting the sheets over and then propping up the pillow. You're not asking them to put the fitted sheets and tuck the fitted sheet under. You're not asking for none of that. But what you're asking for is that the sheet be pulled over and the pillows put up. And guess what? From the look of it, it looks perfectly made until you go closer. You're like, wait, the sheets are all balled up beneath this blanket, but it doesn't matter. They made their bed. I know a lot of parents get caught up in that too, saying they're not making it good enough,
Yeah.
or so yeah. So try to stay away from worrying that your child isn't doing it good enough, and just use these little simple techniques to get them involved and do what they can.
Yeah, that's definitely a mindset shift, I would say.
I know, I know, I
But
know,
you'll get there. I mean, it took me a lot of work.
I know, right? Because especially for parents who are, because you do have some parents, I don't want to use the word, oh, what's the word? They just like things have to be neat. And they have those, you have parents who are neat and well organized, and everything has a spot and everything needs to be in that spot. But when it comes to getting our children engaged, we have to change that mind. We have to modify that mindset a little bit,
Yeah.
just a little bit. Hopefully, it can be wherein the parent can still function, because I do get it. Some parents, it's hard for them to function when things aren't 100%,
Yeah.
So it's really working on yourself as
It's
well.
well, that I would say that's a reflection, something for you to work on, you know?
Mhm.
It's like letting go a little bit and just being in the moment and being free. I think that that's very important. So I always try to find little reflection moments where it's like, is something triggering me here? Because then it's something I need to work on. Because I'm forever evolving, just like my children are. I'm constantly trying to improve my mindset, etc.
And that's the thing, as a parent, we do have to, we're not going to be the same person forever. As we grow as people and we change
Mm-hmm.
in how we look at things sometimes, and some things that used to be super important are no longer important, or some things that weren't important have now become important,
Yeah.
because when you're responsible for a child, and you're, because you want that child to be the best human being they can be,
That they're meant to be,
and
you
that
know?
they're meant to be,
Yeah.
then you are going to change as well, and you are going to do whatever it takes, because that's our role as parents. So I get it, and I do understand that it is difficult, and more so difficult for some parents than others.
Yeah.
So that's why, just start slow, and don't worry about anything being perfect. So just praise your kids for their effort, and just focus on them doing it and not doing it to perfection.
Right.
Because
It's almost like art, right? When your child brings you a Picasso and it could have been better, but you don't say that. So it's the same thing with making a bed. They're just making art.
right, because
It's
it's true,
fine.
like yeah, we see, and even like in school, like we even have teachers who, we're, as a therapist, I'm saying to teachers, let Johnny color the way he wants to color it, or cut it the way. But no, the teachers want to make it refined and pretty to send home.
Yes, I've had teachers like that where it's like all you had to do was give them the marshmallow and we wouldn't have had to have the principal, the AP, and then have to have parents leave work to go and come and get the child because you guys can't get him to calm down. Oh, yep. I've had a teacher like that. It was horrible.
Yeah, allow them to just be themselves and do what they can do. I do notice, and a lot of times too, when we have children who are not yet able to use utensils to feed themselves, it's like the teachers want to feed them. And I'm like, no, it's okay if they make a little mess,
Right.
but let them do for themselves. And that's another thing that parents too, they're like, oh, it's gonna be a mess, let me just do it. But it's that mess that's allowing them to learn. It's like, I know it's a mess, but if we can find a way to have them engage with less mess, then perfect. But the most important thing is having the children participate and engage in activities themselves. I would rather, as a parent, with have my child's work come home that reflects his abilities, as opposed to the teacher doing it and sending something that they cleaned up and sanctified to send home. So teachers as well, allow your children to express it. And we do know, the parents know, that, for some kids, okay, they might not be good at controlling the scissors yet. It's okay that it's cut jagged. It's okay. It's they who cut it. And I think that is more appreciative. Well, in my opinion, it's more appreciative than something that the teacher made pretty. I would want to see what my child's efforts.
Or
And
his vision rather than the teachers.
right, by the teachers. And trust me, if it was me, as the person cutting, like, because I'm not good at using scissors.
Yeah.
If I was the one, the parent would be like, what, this teacher can't even cut themselves. So no, I'll send the kids work home. It might look better than my work, so I'll send the kids work home. You'll never get me
That's
cleaning it up for parents. No. Yeah.
I
So.
I would like to make a point,
Mhm.
and it's about this movie. It's called Inside Out, and if you've watched it, you see that the main character has all of these different things that have happened in her life that have helped her become who she is. And if you when I watched it, what I saw was that these little things helped her become who she is, right? So something as simple as sitting down with your child and folding laundry, I literally put it all on the floor. And it's like, for me, it's a bonding moment with all of us
Mhm.
where the TV isn't on because we're focusing, and to them it's a chore, but I know that this is very temporary, right? Like one day they're
Mhm.
going to leave. So I try to think of things in that way where, like, when they make a huge mess, I now take pictures of that mess, and it's like, get your face in there, because you never know about tomorrow. And after watching that movie, it made me realize that, hey, these are little moments that are going to help them, create their moral compass, have that emotional intelligence. So if they make a mess and I'm not, freaking out, they know that, if they make a mess, that it's not a big deal. It's a small deal. We'll just clean it up. It's fine. So I think it helps them in many different areas.
Absolutely. All of our lives are that way, right? What we do and who we spend time with, and what we do when we're spending time with others, those are the things that do make us who we are. So that movie really, really depicts a great story of just showing us the little things that, like, sometimes as parents we take those little things for granted,
Yeah.
but those little things are having a big impact on
Impact.
the child.
Yeah.
And kudos to you, Jen, for really embracing those moments, because I know, like, you have come such a long way
Thank
in
you.
really learning all these different techniques of how to build your children's skills and their competence and their confidence. And granted, yes, you have a lot of therapists in your children's lives, and you learn a lot of stuff from having your children in therapy
Yeah.
too. And but you are a parent who, you take those skills that you learn from the teachers, the therapists, other family members, and you put them together, because as you said, you're a single mom. And it's so good that you have all these different tools. And as I can, because I've known your kids since they were babies, and every day that
Infants.
I see them, it's like, wow, they are really thriving, overcoming obstacles, different ones, like different years, different obstacles, different time spans, but they're overcoming things because you are putting in place the things that you have learned from the village, right?
Yeah,
Because
and that's what I was just about to say is I take zero credit. Like, this is all the support in the village that I have. I have the most amazing community. Like, my friends are just amazing. They're there for me. Sorry. They answer questions. They listen to me vent. Like, I can cry on the phone with them and just say, like, today sucked. And it's okay. We just dust it off and we move on, because that's how it works. So yes, I appreciate those kind words. I really do.
you are
Thank you.
welcome, and you know how I feel about you and your children. And I am so grateful that I've been a part of your lives for the past almost 8 years now. So thank you for keeping me a part of being a part of y'all's lives.
We're soul sisters, Cecelia.
Yeah.
We really are.
I am so grateful. I'm so grateful. Your kids are amazing. All right, guys. So tonight's big takeaway is letting your kids do for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about making your life harder. It's not about Jen as super mom trying to tell you what to do. And it's not about me as super pediatric occupational therapist telling you what to do. What we're doing is really just sharing what we know to be true, what we know really helps. Because this journey, especially if you have a child with disability, this journey is a trying journey, right? It has its triumphs, but it also has a lot more of like what we would say things that are, we don't know for sure how things are going to work out in each area. But what we do know is that every day there's going to be an improvement in your child's life because we have the tools, we have the science, and you as parents, you all have the grit, the determination, and the love and compassion that your child needs to thrive. So we are just here week after week. Jen and I, we do this. It's all about providing you with information that I know that you can benefit from in helping your everyday lives of being parents of children with whether it be physical disabilities, learning disabilities, or neurodivergence. We know that these are things that are frequently asked questions. We know these are things that you can learn from and utilize with your own children and family. So that's why we're here. We're not preaching, we're teaching. So every small step is laying the groundwork for your child to improve in their academics, their self-help, and their emotional skills.
Sorry, that was my son's teacher. Yes.
Oh, okay. Your teacher
Yes,
is
guys.
calling
So
you
it's
at
not
8:25. I
what?
said your son's teacher is calling you at 8:25. So I'm
She's
gonna let
texting me. Actually, you need to come over because we have the IEP is coming up. So that's what she's texting me about. Yeah. We need to get
Okay, so
together
yeah, we're
for
gonna
dinner
have
at
to
my
talk
house.
about the IEP. And I
Yeah.
did promise to do a whole I'm going to be doing a whole webinar. I have to develop it, webinar on the IEP and the IEP process and questions to ask and what to look for. So, yes, you're going to get with me and we're going to talk about your child's IEP, but we're also going to talk about the whole process so that we can help other parents out there for the IEP. So, you just let me know when you want to get that done. So,
Yeah.
all
Yes.
right.
And just to go back, guys, don't stress on perfection. Pick one routine, one responsibility, and praise them as much as you can. And, just allow yourself to be amazed by the small steps that they make.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, that's our episode for tonight. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at SLR Insights and make sure that if you have any questions or if you want to learn more information on any specific topic, please email us at schoollifeready@gmail.com. I welcome your questions and I will provide answers to them as soon as you send me that email. I'll be sure to respond to you. All right. So you all have a wonderful week and we will see you next week.
Thank you.
So good night, y'all.
Bye. Good night.
Hi. Bye. Have a good night.